I think we are ready for lesson 2 on the factor theorem. So we will hit straight into it and get going with what is the next modus operandi. So if you look at the previous factorizations that we've done, you will notice that these factors lead you to the intersects, when we can conclude that if f of x is equal to 0, then x is a factor of the equation. Let's quickly look at the expression 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 11x minus 4. I try f of 1, I see it does not give me 0, so it's not a factor. I calculate f of minus 1, I get the result of 0, which means x plus 1 is a factor. So if I divide that by x plus 1, then I'm going to get a factor with no remainder. So I'm going to do this with synthetic division. I take the coefficients of x and I list them all down, draw a line, and my factor I'm using is minus 1. My first number is brought down as is, minus 1 multiplied by 2 is minus 2. Add the two together, minus 7. Minus 1 multiplied by minus 7 is positive 7. So 11. Minus 11 plus 7, the difference is minus 4. Minus 1 multiplied with minus 4 is positive 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Because I'm dividing by x, my exponents will be minus 1. So 3 minus 1 will be 2. So x to the 2, x to the power of 2, minus 7x to the power of 1, minus 4. Now I can factorize this expression by the old method that I used, or I can continue with synthetic division or any other method that we deem fit. So we calculate the factors of 2x squared minus 7. I use the cross multiplication method. So I say 2 multiplied by x will give me 2x squared. Then the factors of 4 will be 4 and 1, 1 and 4, 2 and 2 that I could use here. But the ones that will most likely give me the result of minus 7 is 2 multiplied by 4. So that will give me 8, and 1 multiplied by x will give me x. So minus 8x plus x, that will give me my minus 7 that I'm looking for. Now that I know the factors, it's 2x plus 1 into x minus 4. So all the factors will be the first factor, which was x plus 1, 2x plus 1, and x minus 4. That is how I factorize. I could have used synthetic division also, where I would have gone with the trial and error method. Then I would have found that f of 4 would give me 0. So then I will use 4, divide it into 2x squared minus 7x plus 4, where I only use the coefficients. Bring the 2 down. 4 times 2 is 8. Difference between the 2 is positive 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Give me 0. So this will leave me with 2x plus 1. I would like to show you also an alternate method. If you had used f to the power of negative half and you got 0, and you substituted the negative half, and you calculated, you would have gotten 6x squared minus 6x minus 8. The common factor is 2. I'll be left with x squared minus 3x minus 4. Then when I factorize this, I will end up with x minus 4 into x plus 1. So there's different ways that you could potentially have factorized this one specific sum, but it's not dead set that it must be in a specific way. Whatever you find comfortable, use that method. Right, let's use a controversial example of how to use the factor theorem. They say to you, determine the values of a and b if x minus 2 and x plus 1 is factors of x cubed plus ax squared plus bx plus 8. Now I know if I substitute 2 into that expression, it will render 0 because they say it is factors. If I substitute minus 1 into that expression, it will give me an answer of 0. So let's do that first. Substitute 2, substitute 2, substitute 2. I've got 8, 4a, 2b plus 8 is equal to 0. So that means 4a plus 2b is equal to negative 16. 8 plus 8 is 16. The other side will be negative 16. And if we do the same for 1, we substitute negative 1, x plus 1 is equal to 0, thus x is equal to minus 1. So we substitute minus 1 cubed plus a into minus 1 squared plus b into minus 1 plus 8 is equal to 0. Minus 1 plus 1a minus b plus 8 is equal to 0. Thus a is equal to b minus 7. Right? So now we're going to substitute this value of a into that expression of 1. So 4 into, and this was a, so that is b minus 7 plus 2b. So 4 multiplied by b is 4b. 4 multiplied with minus 7 is minus 28. Plus 2b is equal to minus 16. Therefore 6b is equal to 12. Thus b is equal to 2. Right, so now I substitute my b value that I've just determined and I substitute it into equation 2. So b minus 7, b's value is 2. 2 minus 7 is equal to negative 5. However, there's another way that this can be done. Much more treacherous, but it can still be done. Much more safer to use it with synthetic division rather than long division. So I do synthetic division. I use my coefficients only. I multiply, and I must be very, very careful because when I add them together, I must make sure that when I multiply each and every term that is there. I know at this point this answer must be negative 8 because the remainder must be 0. And then when I calculate with a minus 1, the same here, a minus b minus 1 must be equal to 0. Now if I substitute this equal to negative 8, I write it in simpler terms. 4a plus 2b is equal to minus 16. That's my first expression. And this one must be equal to minus 8 because I know that this must be minus 8 in order to give a remainder of 0. So I say it must be equal to minus 8. And then I say a minus b, a is equal to b minus 7. So now I take this a value and I substitute it in there to solve. So now I substitute the b minus 7, expand, calculate b is equal to 2. Then we calculate here also, substitute 2, answer a is equal to minus 5. Much more treacherous, but it can be done. Best of luck for all the other practice exercises that you will get now. Try to do these exercises, and if you can manage this, there's nothing to be scared of for the factor theorem. You will be able to boss this undoubtedly. Enjoy, have fun, always practice, practice, practice.